the final day for a bit where Code Espresso gets you 30% off your entire order at gfuel.com. So if you want to check out a new flavor, grab a restock, or try it for the first time, make sure you use Code Espresso for 30% off your order. Link in the description below. Not gonna lie, I am a little bit late here to this. I understand that entirely. It was bad timing on my part to take a weekend trip here with some friends, but on Thursday, we ended up getting the PC update for Black Ops 4 that will, come Tuesday, kick off Apocalypse Z for PC users. PlayStation 4 and Xbox One users get their updates on that Tuesday, so they've been there for quite some time. But the PC files, of course, as always, gave us a little bit of an insight and a little bit of a look into what we'll end up seeing here coming throughout the next couple of weeks for this first split of Operation Apocalypse Z. Whenever we transition over into the second half or second split of this operation, we'll get another title update that again will give us a new content stream and other things coming along in the shop or anything that may be coming in terms of Blackout, MP, or Zombies updates. But for the time being, we got a little bit of an insight as to the next couple of weeks here. Thanks to our good friend Josh, who we've talked about many times here on the channel. He pulled up some of those game files and gave us a raw look in as to what's to come. So we're gonna break that down here today in this video. If you want to stay up to date with all things Black Ops 4 and all things Call of Duty, of course, we do daily content here on the channel. So if you want to stay up to date with all that kind of stuff, maybe considering that subscribe button. It was 63% of viewers not subscribed. Again, totally up to you, entirely optional. But if you want that added notification and want to stay in the loop, I like to inform as many as you as possible. So that said, options there and the content will still be there, but let's jump into the stuff at hand today. Now, if you're hoping for any massive bombshells in terms of big stuff coming here that's secret and kept under wraps and will be revealed within the next couple of weeks, unfortunately, that's not exactly the case. We got kind of three main primary areas of discussion I want to talk about. Some being Mark II weapons in Mastercrafts, some returning items, some things that are already seen in the game but are returning like we've seen previously, and then newer items outside of weaponry and other customization things you can see, either that being uniforms, that being Blackout characters, whatever it is. So we're going to talk about that, break it down, but let's start out with the Mark II weapons in the Mastercrafts, because this is something I'm sure probably the majority of players are most concerned with. Uniforms, again, aren't necessarily my cup of tea. Returning items are just things that we've seen before and are coming back in the game files here and in the shop later on. But as for the Mark II weapons and the Mastercrafts up on deck, we saw added with the update itself that in reserves, the MOG got a Mark II, the Vendetta got a Mark II, and the SOG 9mm got a Mark II as well. Those ones are there in the game files right now in reserves and are earnable and obtainable depending on how you end up going about them. Unfortunately, none of these were added into tiers, so you can't directly and organically grind them out to get them. But on top of that, in the game files, there's also indicated a new Paladin, Rampart, and KN Mark II with what looks like maybe a SWAT Mark II or maybe a Mastercraft. But those four are in there and are not seen in reserves just yet, and will presumably be coming in the shop is my best guess here at this. A lot of them do have the vertical cards to denote that they will be in the shop either as featured items or special orders, but that's something that will be coming along here at this one. And honestly, these look really cool, but again, it's something that we probably won't get organically. So, I mean, they do look really cool, but like, $20 cool per each. I don't know about that one. Outside of that, though, we end up seeing that we have those returning items, that being Brutus, the Blackout character, the Detective Crash outfit, and the Strip Camo. All of these items coming from Grand Heist, whether that be in the tiers or items that we saw introduced in the shop back then. The Detective Crash outfit wasn't something that was in tiers, but Brutus as well as the Strip Camo both were. And as we've seen with other items making their return here at this, they're going to be introduced via the shop again, unfortunately, as with all these other things we'll be talking about here in this. But this is something that the Strip Camo honestly looks pretty cool, I think, and if you missed out on that one, it is a decent looking camo. The other stuff, again, Brutus is a Blackout character, and the Detective Crash outfit is just a uniform for Crash. But these each all come with 5 bundle crates each. So the Brutus one will come with 5, Detective Crash outfit coming with 5, and the Strip Camo as well coming with 5 bundle crates. And so then the final things that we see here, data mined out of this stuff, is that of a couple of new items in terms of customization. Again, this one's kind of a little bit miscellaneous and not necessarily as organized as the other ones, but we end up seeing that we have that Outrider cheerleader outfit that we saw from the key art, the trailer, and elsewhere here at this. We saw the zombie football player again coming with that, coming from the key art and also the trailer and other places like that. We see a new, what looks like comic-themed camo, which may be a static camo like we've seen with things like, as of recently, Smoke Blast, Durez, and other things introduced within Days of Summer. So that might be another one that joins the ranks there along with those camos. Then we also see what looks to be the summer replacer that was mentioned in the blog post as well, and the backhander melee weapon. Now, a little more about these, we end up seeing the Outrider cheerleader outfit's going to be coming along with the 2 bundle crates as well. The zombie football player, 2 bundle crates with that. Summer replacer bundle is going to have 4 crates. And then the backhander melee weapon also had its preview video detailed as well in the game files, which honestly is pretty funny, but it has the same hand clap as the lefty from Black Ops 3 and the Inspect there. And also it looks like the Inspect almost still has the zombie arm still alive, and it tries to lunge at the player and you have to hold it back with that. But this is also something that we thought we'd see in reserves or even tiers, but despite being listed in the blog post with the wording that made it seem like a day 1 item for the operation, it's not there just yet, and we don't know when we'll see it, but it also looks like it's going to be a paid for weapon in the shop, like how we saw the sword was at the end of Days of Summer. Now, the unfortunate part as well is that this also comes along with 5 bundle crates. Now, you might be starting to see the common thread here. Out of the data mined items that we have so far, we have 4 new Mark II weapons or Mastercrafts, 3 returning items from Grand Heist, and 5 new items seen elsewhere among that customization spectrum, making 12 items to, admittedly, a less than packed event kickoff. I think this might be the least amount of items that we've seen data mined right off the bat here, but at that point, we end up seeing 4 of those 5 new customization bundles coming with crates, 3 of those returning items coming with crates, and so far, 1 of the 4 new Mark II weapons coming with crates as well, though that's likely to increase because we haven't seen any shop or promo items for those others like the SWAT, Paladin, or Rampart. We haven't seen anything in the game files that indicates, like the KN, we'll be seeing a Mastercraft for sale and being paid for items. But at best, 8 of those 12, 66% of items coming in the next few weeks for Apocalypse Z are tethered to bundle crates, jacking up prices and not being what players really asked for. And at worst, 100% of them. There still is that possibility that the Comet Camo and the other 3 Mark II weapons could come along with bundle crates as well. But right now, we just don't have the necessary info to really decipher whether or not that's for certain or not. But at the very best, 66% of those things coming to the game with bundle crates. To me, that's a bit much, man. When I think of this, I easily see that half of these could have been tier rewards. Toss in a Mark II weapon, toss in a SWAT Mastercraft or something in there, or hell, even put another skin in there, or even just that comic static camo that we see in the game files. Put any of those things in tiers, and realistically, it kind of makes those tiers better. 40 tiers in for what, a Mastercraft and an Ultra Weapon Bribe, that's not the greatest yield that we've had, and it seems like, again, continuously pushing back and back further. But what I'm genuinely baffled about is that by, again, I've said this before, 9 months in, 3 months from when none of this will matter and when Modern Warfare launches, there is still absolutely no give on what should be content for the players. And I guess to clarify that statement here a little bit is that every single update we progressively get worse and worse, it seems like. But 9 months in, when we're 3 months out from this game not meaning anything to probably a large portion of players, why do we keep progressively pushing further and further down the crap rabbit hole? Why has nothing changed when in just a short period of time, it's going to be completely irrelevant? Why after every single update progressively furthering the frustration with the MCX systems do they keep making it worse, when in reality, all it takes is just really one sign of good faith to the community that doesn't even have to be a lot. Like, just put these items in with no bundle crates or put 1 or 2 of them in tiers, and I don't think as many people would be as frustrated. I'm sure there's a whole team in the business side of things that could debate me on this, but I know from my own experience, and I'm sure many will agree, that if you give us a cool looking camo like the ICR Mastercraft or that new KN Mark II, but don't bundle it with crates, I'd buy it within a heartbeat. And then that law of numbers comes into play, where if somebody really enjoys that and there's not a huge price barrier along with it, that's going to increase sales exponentially. Jacking up the prices may short-term clear costs and revenue goals, but not as many people will buy it. Think of it this way. If you're presented with anything in life, something that's $5 or $15 to $20 with a few lottery tickets included, if you like the thing enough, chances are you buy it for $5. But when you're paying triple the amount with something that you don't care about at all and doesn't guarantee you anything, you're probably less inclined to buy that same thing at a higher price. So why continuously introduce things at a higher price with things that people don't care for? I don't know, maybe it's my arrogance seeping through. Yeah, I graduated with a business major, manager. Maybe it's just me thinking I know all the answers and have everything figured out in my mind as some ignorant kid, whatever you want to write it off as. I just don't get the necessity to, again, continuously funnel players to buying something that they don't want. I've said it time and time again here. The only thing that I really care about in a first-person shooter game is camos and, by association, Mastercrafts and Mark II weapons, because they visibly change and make an alteration to the weapon that you see, the pretty much only thing you see in a first-person shooter. So when I can just buy those things outright, I'm okay with that. I don't really have a huge issue with that. Whenever it's something to me, I see the value in that. And that's actually something that isn't as crazy a thought as many people may think, because we saw it already in Black Ops 4. When people ask for a buyable shop leading up to Black Ops 4, it's like how we saw it during launch. Just items that players wanted. And again, honestly, at that point, I didn't have too many issues with it. There weren't really, honestly, as many cool things back then as there may be now. Some of the things like the Nebula camo, some of the things like some of these Mastercrafts, sure, I would have paid for them just by themselves, but instead now the shop has been warped so much that everything that we see added, or close to everything we've seen added in recent times, has been accompanied by bundle crates, jacking those prices up. And honestly, I think if you were to just take the cool things we see now, camo-wise and things like that, and just add them just by themselves, I think it'd sell so much more. But I don't know. That's the information here with this. That's everything that was data mined. And again, not as big a yield of things that we see data mined here out of this update, but I think it's primarily just because this split of the operation is much shorter than we've seen previously. Well, maybe by like a week or so here at this. Not much shorter, but the operation as a whole probably isn't going to last the full 70 days like we've seen previously, but instead a little bit shorter, so that we can end up seeing Operation 6 introduced, with time for that to end up clearing the hurdle and then leading right into Modern Warfare's launch come October. So that's stuff we got to keep in mind as well. This is probably going to be a shorter operation, but that's everything that we've seen here. Data mined from Josh's information, pulling from the game files directly from Thursday's update. But let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Are you guys like me and you just don't understand why we keep getting everything funneled with bundle crates? Are you guys keen on anything that you may see here, but again, not necessarily too fond of the fact that it's bundled and upticked in price as a result? Whatever it is, feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, but hopefully enjoy the video. If you did, make sure you drop a like down below, and of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Black Ops 4, MP, Blackout, Zombies. We got you covered, the best of updates, news, information, tips, tricks, all that good stuff. So if any of that interests you, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing. And if you guys also want to follow me over on Twitter and Instagram, there's the best place to get connected outside of YouTube. Trying to live on both those. If you guys want to strike up a conversation, ask me a question, whatever it may be, that link is down there in the description below. Well, that's that. Thank you guys all so much for watching. My name is Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.